Chandamama Mahabharat, Part 6. The birth of the Pandavas. Pandu, who was wandering in the forests accompanied by his wives Kunti and Madri and spending his time hunting wild animals, one day struck a pair of deer while they were in union. Those were not actually deer. A sage named Kindama and his wife had assumed the form of deer and were engaged in conjugal union. While dying, that sage cursed, "When you unite with your wives, may death befall you as well." Pandu grieved greatly for having killed the sage couple. Until then, he had no children. From then on, the possibility of having children was also lost due to the sage's curse. He told his wives that he would take up sannyasa and live in the forest, and that they should return to Hastinapura to inform Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, and the others about this matter. "Where would we, your wives, go? Where would we stay? We shall all perform penance together and reach the holy realms after our life ends," said Kunti and Madri. They were even prepared to give up their bodies right then if Pandu did not agree. Unable to refuse their words, Pandu decided to let them stay with him and practice Vanaprastha. All three discarded their valuable clothes and ornaments and wore garments made of bark. They sent the attendants who were with them back to Hastinapura. While traveling the country, they visited Nakshata mountain, Chakrartha, Kalakuta, Himamvanta, Gandhamadana, Indradyumna lake, and Hansakuta, staying for a few days at each place before reaching Shatashringa mountain. Many sages lived there. Pandu began to perform penance along with them. However, a doubt arose in him. For a person without sons, no matter how much penance is performed, the holy realms cannot be attained. He had no offspring. If his wives bore sons through men who were his equals or superiors, those children would become his sons known as Kshetrajalu. He himself was a Kshetraja after all. Thinking this way, Pandu told his opinion to Kunti. She did not agree at first to bear children through others. But Pandu eventually convinced her. Kunti said to her husband, "In my childhood, sage Durvasa initiated me into a mantra. If I chant it, whichever deity I think of will come and grant me the blessing of a son. Which deity shall I meditate upon? That is even better. It is necessary for the one who is to become the king of the Kaurva dynasty to be a great knower of righteousness. Therefore, meditate upon the Lord of Dharma," said Pandu. She did as told, invoked Yam, and through his grace, she became pregnant. Gandhari had already been pregnant for a year by then. But while Gandhari was still pregnant, a son was born to Kunti. The sages living in the hermitage named the boy Yudhishthir. Later, upon her husband's request for a powerful son, Kunti bore Bhima to the wind god. A strange event occurred as soon as Bhima was born. While Kunti was sitting with the child in her lap, a large tiger came to those parts. Seeing it, Kunti was frightened and, forgetting that the child was in her lap, she rose abruptly. The child fell onto a rock. Immediately, that rock shattered into 4 pieces. Everyone there was stunned seeing that. After this happened, Pandu wished to have another son. Upon his wish, Kunti bore Arjuna through Indra. While Gandhari bore 100 sons in Hastinapura, Kunti bore 3 sons here in Shatashringa. Pandu wished for Kunti to bear more sons. But she did not agree at all. Then Madri said to him, "Kunti bore sons through the power of the mantra, right? Why should I, who am equal to Kunti, remain without children? If Kunti initiates me into that mantra, I too will become a mother of sons." Pandu informed Kunti of her wish. Kunti initiated Madri into the mantra. Madri worshipped the Ashwini Devas and through them bore twin children named Nakula and Sahdev. Madri would have borne more children with the power of the mantra, but Kunti grew annoyed that she had invited 2 deities at once and refused to initiate Madri into the mantra again. Pandu spent some time watching the charming play of the children born a year apart. All the residents of the hermitage took care in raising the children. Vasudev sent gold jewelry, silk clothes, toys, and other items to his nephews through his priest, a Brahman named Kashyapa. Pandu had the ceremonies of Cholamu and Upnainamu performed for his children and had them taught the Vedas by the sages there. After some time passed, during a spring season, while Kunti was busy in serving the Brahmans, Pandu saw Madri alone and became overwhelmed by desire. He united with her and died due to the curse of Kindama. Hearing Madri crying while hugging her dead husband, Kunti, the Pandavas, and the sages there came and were shocked by what had happened. Madri called Kunti close and told her the reason for Pandu's death. "Alas, Madri, knowing that the king had the sage's curse, I remained very careful. Yet why did you let this happen? What can be done now?" As the elder wife, I shall perform Sagamna. You take the children and raise them, said Kunti. Madri cried and said, no matter how much I tried, I could not restrain my husband. If I could not protect my husband's life, how can I protect these children? Since I could not make my husband happy in this world, perhaps I can make him happy in the other world. I shall go with my husband, and taking leave from Kunti, she too entered her husband's funeral pyre. Afterward, the sages at Shatashringa took Kunti and the Pandavas, along with the remains of Madri and Pandu, to Hastinapura and told everything that happened to Bhishma, Dhritarashtra, and other Kaurava leaders. Bhishma and Dhritarashtra grieved greatly upon hearing that Pandu was gone. Dhritarashtra told Vidura to conduct the funeral rites for the deceased as per tradition. The remains of Madri and Pandu were placed in a palanquin, paraded with the honors of umbrellas and fans, and immersed in the Ganges. Countless people from the city followed them to the banks of the Ganges. After the funeral rites were performed for 12 days, everyone returned to the city. Satyavati, following the advice of Vyas, took her daughters-in-law Ambika and Ambalika and went to the forests to perform penance. All three ended their lives there while performing penance. From then on, the Pandavas and Kauravas grew up under Dhritarashtra. They all played together and competed with one another. In all games, Bhima always had the upper hand. To show his strength, he would pick up 10 people at once and run. If he got very angry, he would grab the hair of the opponents and not let go. While swimming, he would hold 10 or 12 people underwater at once. If children climbed trees for fruit, he would grab the trunk and shake it, trying to bring the tree down with its roots. The children on the tree would be terrified that they would fall. Although Bhima had no evil intentions in doing this, his play was a matter of life and death for the others. Duryodhan was extremely envious of Bhima's immense strength. He had the wicked thought that if Bhima alone died, the rest would listen to whatever he said. He did not get the right opportunity for a long time. There is a place called Pramnakoti on the banks of the Ganges. There, Duryodhan had built water tanks with steps on 4 sides, gardens, and high mansions suitable for water sports. One day it was decided that all the princes would go there for an excursion. Various types of snacks, meals, and drinks were prepared. The servants took them to the Pramnakoti site. The Pandavas also went for the excursion along with the other princes. The Pandavas also ate the food items brought there along with everyone else. However, Duryodhan went near Bhima, spoke to him very affectionately, and fed him snacks mixed with poison. Bhima did not have the slightest suspicion. He played in the water along with the others, and as the poison began to work, he felt nauseous, lay down where the cool breeze blew on the banks of the Ganges, and became unconscious. Delighted that his plan had succeeded, Duryodhan tied Bhima's hands and feet tightly with vines and threw him into a deep pool in the Ganges. Bhima knew none of this. He went straight down to the netherworld. There, poisonous snakes bit him. With their venom, the poison given by Duryodhan was neutralized, and Bhima regained consciousness. Realizing that his hands and feet were tied, he stretched his body forcefully, broke all the bonds, and began to catch and kill the snakes that bit him. Vasuki came to know of this. Vasuki came, saw Bhima, and realized that he was his relative. This is because Shura, the father of Kunti, was the son of Vasuki's sister. Therefore, Vasuki took Bhima and made him drink a divine nectar that grants the strength of 1,000 elephants. Bhima drank 8 pots of that nectar and slept comfortably. Chandamama Mahabharat, Part 6 is complete. For now, Swasti.